Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of TNM Inviews. We are so excited because today we are speaking to violinist Earl Maneein. We will be talking. Hello. We will be talking to him about his upcoming performance with Tribeca New Music, as well as life in a heavy metal string quartet, and really anything else that we find interesting. So, without further ado, hello, Earl. Thank you for being
Hi,
here.
Alex. Thanks for
Thank
having me.
Of course. We're so excited. Okay, I really do have so many questions for you. This is
Later.
exciting. So, first of all, I'm interested. Where did you grow up? How did you get started playing the violin? And I actually understand that you played with the New York Youth Symphony when you were younger. Like, what was that like? And how did that all coincide to make you now and in your heavy metal string
Wow,
quartet?
that's a lot of questions. I grew up in Queens, New York City, so I'm the urban version of a good old boy. I'm living in New York right now. My big move was from Queens to Brooklyn, and that's really my wife's fault. But yeah, so I'm from Queens, New York City. I started playing the violin because my parents put me in. Like I didn't really have a choice. I was four. I think for them, their rationale was that like this kid is insane, and we need to give him something to burn off, um, excess energy. And so it's a really funny thing because it's the sort of thing like like a lot of parents sign their kids up for these things, and the kid doesn't really have a choice in the matter, and they either just hate it and then like they kind of drag their heels and quit, but I didn't. I happen to love it. I happen to really really love the violin. It kind of had this immediate resonance, for lack of a better word, for me. So I stuck with it. I went the whole way through. Yeah, and yes, I was in New York Youth Symphony. It's probably one of my few positive uh orchestral experiences. Mostly I find orchestral playing to be pretty hateful and joyless, but not New York Youth Symphony. That was actually pretty cool. Because they understood that like the playing there was on a really high level, and it was clear that the administration was really supporting the kids and kind of had it was a really great organization to be like kind of involved in and be a part of. So, and the rep was great. I remember really liking my conductors. I was under Sam Wong and Miguel Harth Bedoya. Yeah. So, and then college orchestral experiences were maybe not that great, and the other youth orchestra, which I won't mention, was also not that great. So, but whatever. But it's my personality. It's not about that organization themselves. It's just that I was always kind of I just didn't want to play orchestral music. That was just, it was just not my cup of tea. I didn't really, I kind of was, I'm more into like, I love chamber music, obviously I have a string quartet, but I'm into like bands. I'm into like, 4, 5 people playing off of each other. I'm not necessarily into sitting there and writing bowings with a pencil. You know.
No, that's just really it's really interesting that you say that, and it's refreshing to hear that sort of honesty. Especially like so no, but I mean it is what you have created and like what Seven Sons has created. It's just a you have, I think, blended the band string quartet, those two worlds in such a wonderful and relevant way. And
Am I
you know,
relevant? I don't know what
yeah,
relevant means,
I
Alex.
think you're relevant.
What does relevant mean? I don't. I really don't.
I think it's timely almost like this needed to happen. This was like the next frontier. And I mean, I would say like in terms of Like I mean, I spoke to Will Healy a few weeks ago, and we talked about, you know, his band Shout House, and he was like, I think it should just be standard that you have a saxophone in an orchestra. And I'm like, yeah, same. Why not? You know? So I think that this it's really nice to hear that from you.
I love it. There definitely should be saxophones. I think I probably would have had an even better time in orchestra had there been saxophones.
Just like a whole line of them. It'd be great.
Right. Right.
So I guess going off of that, let's talk about Seven Sons. So how did Seven Sons come together? How did you come up with the idea of starting a heavy metal string quartet specifically? And what are some of the challenges you faced and might still be facing with this idea and with, you know?
Thank you. So in the spirit of brutal honesty, do you remember that movie She's All That in the 90s? I don't know how old you are, but there, oh, you know what? Even there are other precedents before that. Pygmalion. You know that play Pygmalion?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so anyway, so the basic plot of She's All That and Pygmalion is basically this popular dude. Well, it's slightly different, but I'm gonna go for the '90s movie because that's.
I remember it. I did like that one. Problematic, okay. But I did like it.
Oh, absolutely problematic. No, all the shit that would like happen in the that's all. Everybody would be just canceled. Everybody is just canceled. Anyway, so the point is, but the point of this movie was that this popular jock dude makes a bet with his other asshole jock dude friends, and like, I'm gonna take out the nastiest chick to the prom, and I'm gonna like play psych games with her, and I'm gonna like just take her to the prom because it's a cruel joke, because, you know,
yeah,
she's a nasty whatever, right?
Even though she was like gorgeous. Like,
right. So right. Which is inherently ridiculous on his face, because Rachel Lee Cook was absolutely gorgeous. No, if you put like mud and put like little dried macaroni on her forehead and mud on her, she would still be gorgeous.
Still be beautiful.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, but suspending belief, right? So she's supposed to be like ugly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so then the whole point is that he kind of slowly actually falls in love with her. And then, and he's like, I was wrong. I'm so sorry. I was a douchebag, blah, blah, whatever. Right. So like, it's this kind of, oh wait, am I allowed to curse on these things? Cause
we're doing it now. We're doing it now.
So the reason why I bring up Pygmalion, because Pygmalion he fashioned the statue of a woman, and then he kind of falls in love with the statue, and it kind of becomes, so what was fake became real. So Seven Sons was actually super cynical and super not real at first, and then it kind of became real over time, because so what happened was I had a metal band that I was like creatively like super invested in, but then I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what, I'm making no money doing this thing is like sucking money just all day. And then I had been in projects where like it's like this kind of performing arts venues projects where there's grants and there's money and there's kind of like, and then I would watch people with maybe sort of questionable whatever. So like they would go, they would go to these like, conferences and like put on a whole bunch of bullshit. And then they'd be like, oh, wow, so we'll pay you whatever to come to fly here and do your, act. So then I was like, wow, maybe I should do something that's maybe not so straight up metal, because then I had this idea of like, we could bring the metal band with the string quartet, and then we'd kind of double shows. Like if like a university hired Seven Sons to do this, then I would have my metal band Resolution 15 would play in the same town, and I kind of had this Machiavellian thing going on. It actually did not work either way. So it started from like a sort of cynical, admittedly cynical thing of like, how do I make money doing metal in a weird avant-garde setting, and it just not really ending up working out that way. But I ended up loving what I had formed a real band with my string quartet. Like it was a real connection. It was real music making. So it ended up being kind of like Pygmalion.
Incredible. Incredible. No, I really, yeah. No, I mean that's so funny that it came from a cynical place. Again, I love the brutal honesty. And it came from a but I mean, isn't that what art is in a way? And like it all just comes from a place of like, well, this isn't working. Let's try this. And it's just a bunch of throwing stuff at the wall, you know? Um
Yes. I don't. I'm not entirely sure. I wonder.
okay.
It's probably both. Because I'm a metalhead. I'm a slash hardcore punk kid, right? Like, there's no money in this. There's still no money in Seven Sons. Listen, Tribeca New Music Festival is paying us like a lot for us, which is not really a lot at all. But we're actually getting it's an anomaly. Most of our shows are at like St. Vitus and like what you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we're still doing it for the love. And if I was actually truly cynical, I would just write. I would do my best to write commercial pop tunes and try to sell them, like
That's fair enough.
you know what I mean? Like I would
Yeah.
actually not be doing this because there's actually no money in this, really. I mean, like so, it's yeah, it's
So you do it but you do it for the love.
yeah.
And I guess so then I guess a follow-up question would be because that because a lot of young composers watch these interviews and then a lot of young musicians watch these interviews. So then how just out of like if you can be if we can be transparent, how then do you monetize something like this? And like how do you then monetize your art in a way that allows you to live?
Hi, kids. So I think I think honestly, like so more brutal truth is that it all is pieced together, right? Like there's been certain successes that I've had where like I got the check from ASCAP and I was like, "Wow. Really? Sweet. All right. That's cool." But it would not be enough alone for for a living. Um the brutal reality is that I do anything music related that will pay me. I have a recording set up at home. I did me my wife and I were actually lucky enough we got a sweet account where we did all the strings remote string recording for the Netflix show Waffles and Mochi. So, things like that, remote recording. I do a lot of weddings. Um and I love it. Also, it's a sweet job. It's pretty mindless, and I have a pretty clear delineation of it where I'm still playing music, so I'm super stoked. Really, the requirements are just don't be an asshole, put on a suit, don't smell, be on time, and that's kind of it. And then so that forms a large amount of my income too. I teach kids. I mean, which is a reward in and of itself too. Sometimes some kids are little fucking assholes. I mean, fuck them. But you know, but if it's the right fit, it really is a joy. And then the music, the writing your own music. I think honesty is really it was really the best way. Like I said, in a weird way, Seven Sons had started from this kind of cynical place, but it was still motivated by trying to get a living out of. I still wasn't compromising. It's not like Seven Sons is any kind of compromise either, you know? So I think you just kind of do, if you stay true, you just, I'm always a big advocate of just being really true to yourself.
Yeah. So I get it. I get it. And that is good advice. I'm glad we pivoted away from the you will get no money to you'll get some money, but just know that I think it also comes down to you do things like you say that anything you want to like anything you do music related brings you joy. I think that and like you make the clear delineation like what it is that you're doing. And I think that is super important as well because, in this day and age that and if as 21st century musicians, you have to be flexible, and
Yeah.
you just have to kind of do it. And no, I appreciate you saying all of those things, because
Well,
that
thanks.
it's
Yeah.
important to hear. It's really important to hear.
Yeah. I find even if it's
Yeah.
something that I'm not into, I find the thing that I like about it. Like I find like something about it that's pretty sweet. Like so I'm just like, oh yeah, all right. Yeah, I can roll with this. You know
For
what I mean? Like
sure.
that's
Yeah.
you know.
No, that's I love that. Thank you. Um so I guess going back now to the now. Um you have a performance coming up with Tribeca New Music.
Yep.
And I'm just wondering, what is the audience going to hear? You are going to be performing with flutist Robert Dick and Dillinger Escape Plan's drummer Billy Reimer.
Yep.
How did this combination come about, and what brought you all together, and what are we going to hear?
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Yeah, so I don't even know how to describe what you're gonna hear because it's what it is. I mean, like it's just so it's basically so I met Robert because Robert actually came to an earlier Tribeca New Music festival featuring Seven Sons, and he came and he kind of struck up a conversation with all of us, and we started jamming. So and over the year, it's been a few years now, and we became friends slowly over the course of like whatever we've done a bunch of musical things together that have actually not been released yet, but have been recorded. Um, but because it's on neither one of our priority lists, I guess it's sort of it'll get there. It'll get there. It's actually moving slowly in a good direction. It's just you know we haven't quite finished. So and this thing that we're premiering with Robert is one of these, and it's kind of a pretty sweet combination of him and I, what grammatically he and I, him and I, him, the other person and myself.
That yeah, that's right. I feel
Doing
like that's
shit.
right.
We're doing shit. We're getting in a room and we're doing shit. So like yeah, it's a real great blend of his style and my style. Like he's got this real I think my big flavor that I get from Robert is like he's funny in a really kind of sort of like it's a little dark, but it's pretty fun. It's very witty and dark kind of humor, and I think that's his title. We're premiering a piece called Satan. Do you have any metallic sonatas? Which is the palindrome, but kind of little turned on its head a little bit, and a combination of the language I draw from primarily, which is metal and hardcore punk. Billy I met because Seven Sons had done years ago, like 8 years ago now, maybe, a cover of the Dillinger Escape Plan song 43% Burnt, which is on their first major album, Calculating Infinity. It's their big tune. They close the show very often with 43. And I put it on Instagram, just being a fan of Dillinger Escape Plan, not really thinking anything of it, but I put it on Instagram, and then Ben, the guitar player, I guess the band leader, Ben had DM'd me and was like, dude, this is pretty sick. Can I come to a show? So he showed up. We had a show coming up at LPR, and then he showed up with Billy, and we just got to talking and hanging out. And I've been a fan of Dillinger since like maybe 2001, something like that, since Miss Machine. So they came and we were just like shooting the shit, and he was like, "Can you guys jam with us?" And I was like, "Is the Catholic Church inherently responsible for touching children inappropriately?" Yes. So let's do this. So then we ended up on their album, and so we're friends. So it was very easy for me to say, "Hey Billy, if you're not doing anything," well, he's always doing something, but I was like, if you have the time, if you have the headspace for me at all, you want to come hang? Let's do some stuff. So I've done some stuff on Billy's new band called Thought Crimes, and he's doing some stuff with us. So 1, 2, 3. So
That's amazing. Oh my goodness. So it's just wow, that's so cool though that he messaged you and he was like, this is awesome, and then he came to your show. That's the dream, right? Like
I love the internets. I love it.
Yeah.
The internet's it's this amazing new invention. The internet's you push the buttons on the computer, and then amazing things happen when you push the buttons or you take the screens. You know, the kids have the screens, and then you move your fingers around the screens in weird ways, and then amazing things happen. Whatever. I don't understand. I just want to eat my fucking toast.
Hello, Earl? Are you here?
I just turned into my what I envision myself as an old man.
Just eating toast, talking about the internet.
Eating toast and ranting about it's a wonderful thing, these kids.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so incredible. So we're going to be hearing all new stuff except for one. We're going to be hearing, okay, yeah. And is it all your compositions?
Mostly.
Except for the one that you just told me about.
With Robert. Yeah. And Billy also has a hand in that one too.
Okay.
So that one. Chernhui wrote one song called BCB that's going to be on the program because I've been pushing him for years. Basically, I kind of didn't want Seven Sons since it did become a very real thing. Like, and I'm a big thing about collaboration, like I was like, I don't want Seven Sons to be the fucking Earl Maneein jizz explosion. Like, what is that? Like, there's no room for this shit. Like, I don't want that. Like, I want my friends involved. I want everybody to have a say. You know what I mean? Like, I always thought of myself, like, I know it's a cliche, but first among equals kind of a thing. Like, I did start it. It's my thing, but like, it's all of us. Like, it's not just me, So I've been pushing him. Chernhui's the violist, right? So I've been pushing him for years. I'm like, yo, when are you gonna write for this band, fucker? Right? Like, come on, write for the band. And he's like, I'm like, get your fuck out, write for the band. And so finally, he's written a piece, and it's called BCB, and it's a sort of private joke amongst the four of us. And it's just basically what we eat during rehearsals. So
bacon, crab, and blueberries. That's my guess.
Shall I give it? I'm gonna give it away. Fuck it, whatever. I'm gonna give it away. It's
okay.
Boludos con buñuelos.
Okay.
It's like Colombian. It's so supremely unhealthy. They're basically Colombian.
I never heard of it.
They're donuts.
Ooh.
They're donuts. So invariably, Chernhui shows up because like we're rehearsing in Queens a lot, and Chernhui lives near a fantastic Colombian bakery, and our new violinist Blanca Gonzalez is Colombian, and so it's this thing where Chernhoy will show up with buñuelos, and like
Mm.
they're so delicious and so bad for you, and like I think I've probably taken like 2 years off my life. Like I feel my arteries just like this.
Like that.
Yeah,
So that is what Seven Sons runs on Buñuelos con
buñuelos.
Buñuelos. That
Yeah,
is that is a fun fact.
yeah.
I
Sugar,
love
all
that.
sugar. It's
Just
sugar and
lots of
aggression.
sugar. You should put that on a t-shirt. I love that. Oh my goodness.
Sugar and fuck you.
Yes.
That's what we
Available on the Tribeca New Music merch. No, I'm kidding. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So this I am so excited to hear this. I am so excited to hear this performance. I'm sure it's gonna go down in history. I'm
well,
sure
everything
of
goes
it.
down in history. So,
But this is gonna be like a gold star down in history.
I don't know about that. I don't know. We just do our best, Alex.
Oh my gosh. So I mean, Earl, thank you. We're coming to the end actually of our conversation. And
Okay.
I'm just wondering, first of all, I have two more questions. Maybe three. Two. First of
Tell
all,
me, man. You tell me.
what so you're doing this performance with Tribeca, but is there anything else that's happening with Seven Sons? Do you have any upcoming projects or just yourself? Are you doing anything
Nothing
this
planned
year?
yet. To be honest, nothing planned yet because for us, we're just coming out of the COVID kind of sleep. You know, we weren't doing much. We weren't completely dead. There were a couple things we did the backing, we did all the string parts for the new So Hideous album, which is out, which is pretty cool. We did a cover of a Cult Leader song called Lightless Walk that we put out. That was pretty cool, but kind of we've been on not and our violinist Amanda had moved to LA in the interim, so we lost a violinist. So there was like this time spent doing that, and we also were involved in, I can't talk about it too much because it's still legal things need to happen, but we did a pretty cool thing with a Dillinger Escape Plan album that had been, so that's, there's still wrap up legal stuff going on, but that took most of 2020. So although we were active, it was all behind the scenes kind of stuff. So our focus was definitely not playing live. So TNM is basically it's like a kick in our ass. It's like a restart. So we don't have anything planned yet, actually, but because the engine is starting to kind of warm up again. We're definitely going to be trying to get more shows moving forward. I'm reaching out to our old standbys, St. Vitus, that kind of a thing. So we'll probably have a couple more shows. I talked to the guys. We're probably going to share a bill with our friends in Imperial Triumphant at some point in a couple months, something like that. So there's definitely things are brewing, but I can't unfortunately say, oh yeah, we're gonna go. We have a tour booked because we don't. So.
That's understandable. Especially like, you know, I'm just trying to get I'm just trying to be one person getting back into the world. Like I can't imagine having a whole ensemble and trying to like organize all that. And
Yo,
I
dude,
get it.
yeah, for real.
It's a
And
lot.
it's really a lot. And then plus all the things of family life and all that stuff. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of what have you. There's a lot of to quote the dude. There's a lot of ins and outs. There's a lot of what have yous. You know.
An excellent film.
That's why you hire me. I'm the dude. You're not
I
paying me to
didn't
do shit.
I didn't wake up this morning and think that I would be like quoting The Big Lebowski. I did not think that this is no. That was not on my 2022 bingo card. So
You know.
what?
Now it is. Now you're
No,
privy to
now it
the
is.
shit.
That's it. So that all being said, we're going to definitely Tribeca, we love to support our artists. So like whenever you have something coming up, for those watching or listening, you'll be able to find it on our website, Instagram, and we'll keep you updated with all things Seven Sons as it comes. So
Thank you
because
so much for your support. Actually,
of
really,
course.
you know, you
Yeah, of course.
Tribeca New Music Festival is definitely one of our stalwart, like really champions. I was actually saying on this other podcast, being in writing this kind of music and this particular kind of crossover, we don't
Mhm.
actually get a lot of love from new music classical organizations by and large. We actually don't. Our love mostly is coming from the metal and hardcore community. So Tribeca New Music is actually a no is the pretty much the sole supporter of us in this neck of the woods. So we're really super grateful and honored and really actually thankful. So
Oh my gosh. We're so happy to have you. Preston loves you guys and like the audience loves you. So we're really excited to have you back, truly. My last question for you actually, because we always want to know what people are listening to. What is on your most listened to playlist?
well,
This
fucking Doja Cat.
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Let's see. What am I listening to a lot of? I'm listening to uh I went old school back for whatever reason. I've just been repeatedly listening to the first Deicide album. Hateful Florida death metal. You know, I've been listening to a lot of Deicide. Deicide, Doja Cat, what have I been listening to? Botch. I've been listening to a lot of Botch. We Are the Romans, which is like a super, super seminal hardcore album. Um, oh, and Iron and Wine, because secretly I'm just a big softy. Big, big softy inside. So that's basically my listening list. It's Doja Cat, Deicide, Iron and Wine, and Botch.
Incredible. Oh my gosh. Okay, well we'll have links to all of those. That very eclectic playlist. So that you too could listen like Earl Maneein. Um,
Yeah, like my head should be exploding, right? But like,
it's all good. It's all good stuff. It has its place.
yeah.
Um, Earl, thank you so, so, so much for being here. Thank you for being so honest. Thank you for speaking to us about all of this. It's a joy to talk to you, and I really cannot
Likewise. Thank
wait.
you, Alex.
I can't wait for your performance. That will be on Sunday, March 27th at Nancy Manasharian's The Cell Theater in New York City, and that's going to be at 5 p.m. Buy your tickets. There's gonna be a link in the bio to buy tickets, and yeah, come out. Don't be a stranger. Follow Earl, follow Tribeca, and we will see you there. Thank you, Earl.
Bye, everybody. Then thank you so much, Alex.
No worries, my pleasure.